friends, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure to be here and also to see and learn from our Pacific neighbors. We are a very young country, only 15 years old, and half an island, 1.2 million people. We had to fight for our liberation at the cost of 250,000 people in 24 years. And finally, we are free, and we will be rebuilding the country. Economically, Timor Leste's economic pillar would be petroleum and minerals, agricultural, fisheries and forestry, and tourism and services. These are the main economic pillars that will sustain the country into the future. As a young country, I just want to give you some aspects of where the country is in terms of political stability. In 2012, we had the United Nations still there, and we had the elections. No major drama. But this year, for the first time, we organized elections on our own. It went completely peaceful, and we felt, as a government officials, we felt that, wow, our people get to know, start to mature in terms of what democracy is all about. Where in one household you have dad would be voting for one party, mom would another party, and the kids on another party, have all their flags in one household and no drum. And that is a very good sign of where the country is heading. And with the election result, there was no overall majority, a single political party winning overall majority. Therefore, there's been some negotiation for the 5 political parties that are now represented in Parliament. And just 2 days ago, that the 3 parties have formed a coalition, and that will sit. And then hopefully in the next few weeks, we will have a government, because it's trying to manage all the competing demands from party members and so on. And hopefully we will have the government by then. But most importantly, there is no violence. It's complete at peace. And this is what we want in terms of setting the country for major developments to come. At the moment, the income that we have is from one of the small wells that the ConocoPhillips and joint venture is producing. And since 2004, because we have a sovereign fund that is completely secure, and we have accumulated about $16 billion in our account. And that is giving us, in terms of earning interest and revenues, to run our budget every year. But as you heard, that just recently, Australia and Timor Leste have agreed on maritime border, because this is a major issue that have dogged the relationship between the two countries. And I could almost say that it goes back to 1960s. And now that agreement is there, and I'm sure developing the resources in the area, especially Greater Sunrise, that will unleash huge amount of work and investment that will derive from it. So we want to learn a lot from our Papua New Guinea friends, who's got very experienced now with oil and gas development. And the tourism industry, of course, Fiji, Vanuatu have done very well. So there is a lot of learning for us to do, with them. And I like the idea of these small economies combine its forces to tackle the big market up north. And I think, Timor-Leste is well poised, because we're just like Papua New Guinea. We are next door to these 250 million people. Indonesia. So even that is already a big market in itself. So the potential for investment and win-win solution is there, and we hope that investors in Australia and elsewhere in the Pacific, and hopefully our Papua New Guinean friends, which is generating a lot of capital now, can come and also invest in Timor Leste. And we hope to also have air services agreement, which we hope next year we can start negotiation between the Papua New Guinea government and Timor Leste to establish air services agreement. We have done with Indonesia, Singapore, and Australia. So because air connectivity, connectivity is so important. Without that, you really cannot build a tourism industry. So we also are undertaking a major road construction around the country to really connect all the 13 municipalities in the country, and ports, airports will be built. With the oil and gas development in the Timor Sea, the southern coast will be developed with 3 major towns built. And at the moment, there is a Chinese company that is building this major highway already, starting the 34 kilometers first from the west, which is going towards the east, and that will keep going until the whole 700 kilometers is built. And so that will enable other industries to come on board, and because you got a good road network that you can move the goods fast, and developing the agriculture, of course, is very important, and the fisheries, because at the moment there is no, we really have not touched the fisheries sector. So the country is relatively, free in a sense, and so investment in any of these sectors is really most welcome. But connection is very, very important, and this is where air connections, sea connections is really important, and things like a package tours. I can remember back in 1960s, I was still young, and I saw this brochure that does the package tour starting, this is from Eastern States, starting Alice Springs, Darwin, and then Dili. And so you got that kind of combination is quite good, and so we hope that, we can, I have not sort of have any of these more detailed presentation, because I was away in Europe and I just came back, and but this is just a step of how we will be engaging with investors in the next year also, and as we improve the systems of governance, the regulations, all these, the institution building of the states need to be done, because we're still relatively young, and I'm sure learning from the experiences of other countries, we can do a good job in terms of attracting the foreign investors, to come. At the moment, someone was asking me about the Chinese presence. Yes, we have a good Chinese presence, but it's mostly petty traders. They are not really investors that bring in the money, and so this is where we need to really, serious investors to come, with the money, and not petty traders, because our people can do the petty trading, and this is what we hope that we can attract with the good tax incentives. There is a USB on the table outside with a guide to investment in Timor Leste with all the information, so you can feel free to pick up, and you can also Google, Timor Leste invest. You'll get it. Google is quite good to access a lot of these information. So I'll stop here, and I want to thank the organizers once again to include me in this process, and we hope that one day all of you, if not all of you, many of you, can pay a visit to Timor Leste and see for yourself. Thank you.